Hello, Rebuild listeners. It's your co-host, Chauntae Gold. I'm with my co-host, Alyssa.
Hey, hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're hopping into Easter.
Yeah.
Easter week.
Yeah, what are we doing?
The Easter week hunt on Saturday.
Oh, is that Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I forget.
You put in your calendar. The pregnancy brain is real.
Oh my gosh, yeah. A good thing this episode is all about pregnancy and yeah.
You'll feel so seen.
Yes, I'm in the thick of it. You know what's so crazy? When I announced my pregnancy on my stories, there's like 5 or 6 women who are weeks pregnant and we're all due in October.
Stop. Oh, that's so cool.
It's so cool.
All within our same age? And is this their second,
so.
third? Like, do you know?
Some they're first, some second. Yeah, first and second. Mm-hmm. Maybe third. I don't know. I don't know too much about their lives, but
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then when I shared that I wanted to have the next 2 back to back, and that, you know, on my reasonings why and how nervous I am, and there was a couple girls that were like, oh, I did that, and if I could do it, you could do it. It's really hard on the body, but you know, we're designed for this, we're made for this, you got this.
Oh, I love that positive encouragement.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know the next 2 years are gonna be hell, but bring it. I can do it.
I'm ready to watch.
Yes, I know.
I mean, my cousin Caitlin, she's on number 4, and her first 2 were back to back, and then the second 2 are practically back to back too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, you kind of have to. Isaiah's going to be 3 by the time second one comes, and I just can't wait that long, you guys.
It's a long wait. You know.
It's a long wait. I'm going to be 38 next year, so yeah, like close to being 38 by the time the second one is born. And so, yeah, if we want more kids, then I just need to like suck it up and just knock them out, and then
just be done.
And focus on like rebuilding my health and body after that.
And focus on raising them.
Yeah, and then focus. Yes, of course.
Why, you guys.
Yeah, that too.
More importantly, getting jacked.
Get jacked again and grow my glutes again. Oh yeah, and then teaching them some things too, potty training, all that stuff. Yeah.
This is why I think people were having kids so early. I mean, why do we wait so long?
I mean,
gosh. Like, no regrets, but for real, it's...
Yeah, you know what? I have been thinking about that because a friend of mine did ask, like, well, you had kids later, because we're actually talking. We had this, I don't want to say debate, but really great conversation about women prioritizing their careers and waiting, and men's role in marriage and parenthood and women's roles, exactly what we were talking about in our last episode. And so she did ask me the question, like, you are somebody that decided to wait. Do you regret that at all? Or what do you think about that? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. There's pros and cons to both, right? There's pros and cons to both. Yeah, I focused on traveling and building my career, and Kevin and I were married, but we were on our own separate adventures for building ourselves up and building my business. He was building his career, and we traveled in between that time. And so yes, that was great and fun and amazing, but also it's okay, you're sacrificing that time to have kids later, which is going to impact other things too if you wait later. So I understand why a lot of people get pregnant early, because you kind of get that out of the way, and then you could build your career later, which is what a lot of people talk about. What do you think, Alyssa?
Yeah, it's hard, because it's hard to, especially when you enjoyed your time with your husband or being single, like early 20s. It's hard to take it all back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I think kids would have probably matured me much faster.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But it is a good feeling to provide a solid life for our girls now. Like, we can do so many fun things with them and we can afford it.
Yeah.
But to be honest,
sure.
and the flip side of that is like when they're little, they don't really even notice. They just
Yeah.
want you. And so, yeah, I don't know. There's no good answer there.
I know. You're just going to have
pros
and cons with anything that you choose. So anyways, thank you guys for listening to the last episode. We had a lot of really great feedback. A lot of you guys messaged us saying that you loved the episode. A few boy moms appreciated the episode and kind of shared similar feelings to the things that I brought up and things that I was talking about. So we did have a lot of people listen to the episode, and I'm sure that there was a handful of other women who might not have agreed or like some things that I say. Which is totally fine. You know, I knew it was one of those topics that would be really controversial and hard to listen to if you had some different beliefs. So I appreciate those who were willing to go into it with an open mind and listen to it, even if you might not have agreed with everything that I said or shared. With that being said, though, I did want to kind of share I don't even want to call it feedback. It wasn't feedback. It was a message from one of our previous long-term friends. We've known this girl since middle school. And Alyssa posted on her stories, so many of you guys listened to this episode. What do you guys think? And she responded to Alyssa, respectfully, it was one of the most disturbing podcasts I've ever listened to. I had no idea strong, educated millennial women were that brainwashed. You both sounded like monsters.
Had a little bit of a panic attack when we read that. Well, Chauntae thought.
Well, at first I thought she was just kidding because just with our relationship with her in the past, like she's a pretty funny girl, and we had some good times together.
Really good times.
Yeah, just she's more of like she's like a comedy girl, like always saying some funny shit. But yeah, so at first I thought she was kidding. I'm like, oh, she's probably just kidding. And Alyssa's like, I don't think she's kidding. I'm like, oh wow.
So I mean, I obviously wanted to hear what she had to say. It's important to me. A future boy mom, and as a friend, I want to know, like, okay, what struck a chord with you? And so we had a long conversation. I don't know, what parts did you want to highlight, I suppose?
Well, it wasn't a conversation. So when we ask for feedback, you guys, there's a difference between constructive criticism and insulting somebody. And this is what she did, which was she insulted us. And then throughout the course of the conversation that she had with Alyssa, she was extremely vague in describing how she was feeling. And what she did was she positioned herself as morally superior than us because she had a different belief system, and she believed that what we were talking about directly impacted her, directly attacked her belief system. And I think a lot of women who perhaps are not ready to have this types of conversations get very defensive because their belief system and their value system is wrapped around their entire identity. And we've talked about this in the past. So any challenge to their beliefs means that you are attacking their identity as a human being. And so, Alyssa was sharing with me their conversation, and she didn't have a whole lot of feedback, actual real feedback for us. It was just more, you guys are brainwashed. I'm never going to get through to you guys. Nothing that I read, no book, podcast, or article is ever going to change my soul. Like saying things like that is not actually helpful to have a constructive conversation, but it's just more of attack on what we talked about on the podcast.
Yeah, I think very open to having conversations with friends and family who think differently than me. And if someone thought differently, I don't have a problem with it. I can't understand how people get, I can see how a debate can get heated, right? But I think, yeah, it's not an attack on someone's character. It's just like, hey, if this is the way, how you feel about it, back it up with some statistics, back it up with some facts, maybe some life experience, throw in maybe some stories or some personal experience that you've gone through to kind of share your thoughts. And I don't know, we talked for quite some time. I want to say half the day. And one thing I also want to make clear, I feel like, you guys, I was kidding about the 1950s. She did mention that. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I have to make myself clear. That was a complete joke. And I did actually chat GPT this. I was like, were people happier or women happier in the 50s? And it was like, well, there was a slight decline in happiness for women in the 70s and early 2000s, but there was probably other reasons. I think, again, like more so the rise of, I guess social media hadn't happened then. But yeah, I think women today just have more freedom, but just more pressure. Like there's a lot more mental load. I think we wear a lot of different suits. Whereas like in the 50s, we had very defined roles and fewer choices. And sometimes fewer choices is kind of sometimes a better thing because you know your lane. But of course, like divorce was stigmatized back then. And, it's arguably, I don't think women were truly the happiest. But yeah, I just think we are just managing more roles than any other generation before us right now.
Yeah. And that does have to do with the boy and men crisis, because I think a lot of women are marrying men who haven't grown up yet. And I maybe that's something that I didn't stress in the last podcast, is that this does impact marriages, because when men don't step up and lead their marriages, women step up and lead the household in and out of the house, right? And so that puts a lot of pressure on women. And this is, women are more likely to initiate divorces. And I don't see that as a woman problem. I see that as men aren't stepping up to do what their role in a marriage is designed to do, right? And so even Charlie Kirk was very critical with men. I remember there's a few interviews of men coming up and saying, well, I went through a divorce or a separation, and, my wife, he was like complaining about his wife, and Charlie was like, what did you do? Why did you not step up? He's like, she might have initiated the divorce, but you clearly weren't giving her something that she needed. And so it's that expectation that we as women have, like, we don't need to be financially secure by a man anymore, but we have emotional expectations that men aren't meeting anymore. And so that goes back to everything that I was talking about giving them a different a different purpose and meaning, because we've kind of replaced that over time. And so how can we make boys and young men feel like they're needed and wanted in this world again? And so I think with that conversation, which is a tough conversation to have, people like our friend here are bothered by hearing that because they're afraid of women being placed back into a box, right? And I understand that, but I want to emphasize that it's not about putting women back into these labels and these boxes and these gender roles. It's about helping men find their purpose again, and how we can all work together as a team, and how we can use our natural God-given strengths to help each other.
So I think too, what she was saying is like, what she heard was women are the enemy. We ruined everything. Boys are depressed because of us. I think that's what she was hearing. And I was like, that's not what we said at all.
Right. Well, I mean, there is an aspect to that. We have to be honest about it. The feminist movement, there was great things that came about the feminist movement, but there was also a lot of not so great things. And part of the not so great things was demonizing men. In our way to prove to ourselves and work up the corporate ladder and to prove that we could do anything that men can do, we also simultaneously told men that we don't need them and that they're worthless. So there is a part of that we have to be honest about. And that's why I brought that up, that we need to change the language on how we perceive and talk to men. Because especially if you are a mother raising a boy, this is going to impact your son. And so just like I mentioned this in our last podcast too, just how women, where we start to take our body apart and start talking poorly about ourselves, our daughter's going to see that and internalize that. The same thing happens with boys.
Do we want to end on some good comments and then we can get into the podcast? Or
yes, sorry. No, yeah, I mean, I just had a couple women reach out who are boy moms, and one girl said that she's had these conversations with her husband, and I just kind of like validated the things that she was also seeing and feeling. And so she thanked me for putting the things that she was seeing and feeling into words. And she also said that, she's around women who have very radicalized feminist views, who do talk down to men around her. And she said they're all girl moms, but and so I find it's definitely interesting that a lot of girl moms have these like built up like poor views of men, and I imagine that it probably comes in a way to protect their girls, right? They just want their girls to be protected and not be placed in this box, right? Of like being still and quiet and meek and silent. I understand that. But again, this isn't about us anymore. And that's the main message that I'm trying to drive home. It's not about us at this time. And then also,
but can we be strong and independent and beautiful and amazing without having to tear the other gender down? Like,
yes.
Right? Like, yeah, it's not that hard to be.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And it's funny because I took some screenshots of comments of posts that I came across of, people talking about boy specific things, and just a lot of moms like, girls need this too. I mean, I mentioned this in the last podcast. I'm not going to read it because I know we want to get into the topic, but it does come up on my feed a lot.
This should have just been its own episode. We could have just kept going.
I know. Part two. And then there was a former client of ours, and sweet message. Paulina, sorry I didn't get back to you if you're listening to this. It was a long message, and I kept reminding myself, respond back to Paulina, respond back to her. But yeah, no, she was great. And she was also kind of raised with that you don't need a man mentality. And again, it comes from a good place, like moms wanting their daughters to be independent and thrive and powerful. But she's like, but I love that my husband takes care of me. Honestly, love it.
Honestly, it's the best.
Honestly, it's the best. Yeah. And it's less pressure on us, right? It's less pressure on us. So we can kind of like do whatever we want and know that we have our husbands to, provide that stability. And later on, when our kids get older, we can aim for higher and bigger goals. But in the season of early motherhood, we do believe that women and mothers do need to be present as possible. So anyways, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Pregnancy. Let's talk about it. It's hard pivot.
Hard pivot into pregnancy and first trimester.
And you're on week 9, right?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I think 10. I lost track already.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah. I'm pretty sure 10.
Okay. Wow. It's going fast over here for me.
Of course it is.
Let's talk nutrition. I think a big misconception around pregnancy is like, you can just eat whatever. You're taking those prenatals. Who cares? Just go for it. And nutrition is important during pregnancy because you are literally building another human from scratch. And so obviously nutrition, same rules apply. It's really not that complicated. Include protein in every meal. Eat fruits and vegetables. Include fat, include carbs, stay hydrated. So boring, you guys, I know. But yeah, I think just focusing on eating mostly whole foods. Your body needs key nutrients, which I'm going to go into. And so, yeah, I think no big...
Well, in the first trimester is obviously so hard to eat balanced meals because you have food aversions. Nothing sounds good. And it's funny because I was just watching a reel and it made so much sense. This woman was talking about how in the first trimester, the embryo is growing so fast, like you're producing, it needs glucose to grow, not necessarily fats and proteins because those are slower digesting macronutrients, but it needs the fast, immediate carbohydrate sources because it's growing millions and billions of cells at once. And so she did say
that your body's craving what it needs.
Yeah, exactly. So, obviously, you're going to gravitate towards like the sugary things or like the quick
fruit,
crackers. But she also mentioned like potatoes and, pasta and rice, right? Those are the starchy carbs that we want to eat. But I know even for myself, nothing. Oh my gosh, you guys, I was barely eating like 50 grams of protein. Like not even cheese sounded good. I would try to eat cheese, but I don't even think I was eating like 1,000 calories a day. I was napping a lot, which it was funny because during first trimester last pregnancy, I remember that I also napped, but I was in such a different mindset back then because I was still in like work and hustle mode that when I would go down for a nap, I couldn't fully rest because work was in the back of my mind.
Well, that's when the business was insane.
Yeah. So it was a lot. And I remember I would like go for a nap, but I would never I would never go into like a deep sleep. So I felt guilty too. Like I shouldn't be napping right now. I need work. I need to do work. But now, oh my gosh, deep sleep for like 2 hours, no guilt whatsoever. It's been awesome. Every day for 2 hours has been, pretty awesome.
The hack with when you're in the first trimester is eating small meals frequently. Like don't go over 3 or 4 hours without food. Always, like, if you need to, have crackers on your nightstand. Take snacks with you, like crackers or fruit. You want to eat something first thing in the morning. Keep it bland. If you're super nauseous, like toast, banana. It could be even just like a fruit smoothies. Like cold things always sound good. I remember for your first pregnancy, a lot of popsicles.
Oh, yeah.
Popsicles, food, cold food instead of hot. And then just avoid strong smells. And then and even though you're exhausted, light exercise can stimulate appetite, and help with like that nauseous feeling too.
Yeah. Training was very hard for me this first trimester. Like I said, last time I was just in like hustle mode. It was also my first time being pregnant. So I was still in that, just like everything in my lifestyle with like work, but also like I was just coming off of like body composition, right? So I was still in that mindset of like train hard and like pushing through it. And now this first trimester, there was like, I trained for 1 week, but it was like barely like, just going through the motions. And then I stopped the following week, and then I trained 1 week, and then I stopped the following week. So this time it's just been a lot of just allowing myself to just go through what I'm feeling and not feel guilty about it, which is completely different than what I did the first time.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would go to the gym and check Camila into childcare and take a nap in my car. I told the people, I was like, look, my first trimester, just call me.
Call me.
Because I didn't have a sitter. It was just me.
Right.
And so, yeah, or I'd go lay on the exercise mat in the back of the gym.
Take a nap.
Yeah. I'm trying. I mean,
Don't mind me here.
Yeah, I just lay there, honestly.
Oh my God. But you threw up a lot too, right?
Yes. Well,
Yeah, I have never thrown
it's probably
up.
a boy then. Yeah. 2 boys for you, 2 girls for me.
Yay.
Oh yeah, so nutrients. Let's talk about nutrients. Because again, I think this is a big one. People are like, okay, I can just eat whatever I want, fast food, like I'm going to get fat, might as well just eat whatever. But it is important to make sure your body's getting proper nutrients. And I'm going to list off some really important ones. So like calcium, that's going to help build your baby's bones and teeth. So think like dairy, milk, cheese. Iron is huge during pregnancy because your red blood cells carry oxygen to the baby. So you're going to want like lean red meat, poultry, fish, beans. Iodine's another important one for baby's brain development. So that will be in like dairy products, seafood, eggs, some breads. Choline is one that's not talked about enough. I usually recommend my clients eat 4 whole eggs. Beef, salmon, turkey, milk, soybeans, broccoli. And then vitamin A, which helps with eyesight, bone growth. So carrots, sweet peas, leafy greens, which no one gets enough of. Leafy greens, spinach, kale.
Leafy greens does
I
not
know.
sound good during first trimester.
No. Okay, this is like, obviously, when you're nauseous, just get through it.
Yeah.
Try your best to incorporate these things. But look, you know.
Yeah, you're not eating any
When you're
vegetables
better.
that first trimester,
Yeah,
trust
right.
me.
I mean, if you can blend, maybe you're doing like a fruit smoothie. You can throw some spinach in there, okay? Vitamin C supports healthy gums, teeth, bones. So that's like citrus fruits, strawberries, tomatoes, broccoli, vitamin D. Think like getting in sunlight, fortified milk, fatty fish, salmon, sardines. And that actually has been shown reduce autism risks. Vitamins B, B6, B12, think like meat, fish, poultry, whole grains, bananas, all that good stuff. Yeah, did you want to talk about folate?
Yeah, so you might hear some people say you need folic acid, and I want to caution any women with that. So what you actually want is folate, not folic acid. And folate, it helps prevent birth defects of the brain and spine. So if you're going to get this directly from food, dark leafy vegetables, legumes, citrus fruits, and liver. But then there's the synthetic version of that, which is folic acid, usually found in fortified grains. So breads, cereals, tortillas. And folic acid is basically like a fake version of vitamin B9 that your body needs to metabolize it before you can use it. Now the trick is people who have the MTHFR gene variant cannot metabolize folic acid very well. So then it builds up in the body. And when that happens, it can lead to birth defect complications. It masks vitamin B12 deficiency. So if you have vitamin B12 deficiency, you can't detect it because it'll kind of hide the early warning signs of nerve damage progresses. It'll affect your mood, energy, detoxification, and hormones, and it could contribute to immune and neurological issues, which is ironic because actually eating enough folate, it helps prevent all of those things. Now, interesting, a little news update here in California, Newsom signed in a law that added folic acid into tortillas. Why tortillas specifically? Well, we've kind of noticed that birth defects have increased or are commonly found in the Latino population. And so he wanted to include more folic acid in tortillas. The problem is 30 to 40% of people carry this MTHFR gene variant. And within the 30 to 40%, about almost half of Latinas carry that gene variant. So get genetic testing done to see if you have that gene. If you don't have it, then none of this matters. Like you can have the folic acid, you can have the folate, it doesn't matter. But if you do have that gene variant, you have to be really careful to not consume folic acid. Now, from like a public health perspective, we should actually be taking folic acid out of food, not putting it into food. And so, yeah, this isn't just in tortillas, but it like I said, it's also found in other fortified grains that I listed earlier. So yeah, just a little tip there.
Beware.
Yeah, beware.
Make your own homemade tortillas.
Yeah,
like Chauntae.
Yeah.
Have you made it yet?
No, not yet.
It's on the list.
No, but Kevin went to the store and got tortillas. He said, these don't have folic acid in it. I'm like, how do you know? He like looked it up or something. I don't know. Yeah.
He tried.
Yeah, he tried.
Fiber. I don't know. Yeah, you guys, you probably are constipated during pregnancy. It does happen. It's a struggle that women go through because your hormones. Thank you, hormones. So make sure that you're getting enough of it. Some of my favorite high fiber foods, raspberries, chia seeds, you can toss those in. Like, you know, those Chobani drinks you get, Chauntae? You toss some chia seeds in there and it makes it super creamy and thick. That's a good hack. Any kind of flax seeds or hemp seeds, you can just toss that in a shake. And then when you can, up your veggie content, up your beans. Like lentils are so amazing. Like beans, I know back in the early 2000s, we were like, beans, that's not a real protein. It's just carbs. Forget that. But beans are like awesome. Okay, you guys, they have protein. They have a good amount of fiber in them. They taste delicious. Just throw it in, your burrito bowls. Like such a great way. Anytime I make a burrito bowl, there is black beans, a couple cans in there. Yeah, so get your fiber in. Calorie needs is another big one that women are really confused. They're like, eat for two. I don't know if that's still going around, but sometimes when I think old myths are like so old, I hear it and I'm like, oh my God, people still think this? So yeah, you're not eating for two. Calorie needs increase just gradually. So first trimester, it's no additional calories needed. And trust me, you're probably not getting enough calories anyways. Second trimester, around 340 extra calories. And then third trimester, it's 450 extra calories. Now, again, this is going to be dependent on your activity level, body size, metabolism, if you're carrying like multiples. But yeah, that like 450 calories is not that much. It's like maybe a Greek yogurt, fruit, and some honey, like a big size. Like I'm talking like a hearty size of Greek yogurt, fruit, honey with granola maybe.
I just had that today.
See? Yeah.
Delicious. So
good. Eggs, toast. That was my example, but honestly, 450 is more than that. I would say that would be a hearty egg and toast breakfast with avocado maybe. So yeah, and that's in your third trimester. The other thing is weight gain. I think women tend to freak out a little bit here. It is normal to gain weight and we all gain differently. I know my first pregnancy, my doctor was older and older woman. And she was like, oh my gosh, you're gaining really fast. Like you said you work out, you're a fitness instructor. I'm like, yeah, I work out, I teach, I'm a nutrition coach, or I don't know if I was a coach. No, yeah, I was. And I wasn't, I mean, she maybe second guessed myself a little bit, but I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like this lady, oh my gosh, like back off lady. But yeah, usually like 1 to 5 pounds in the first trimester, second trimester and third.
Some people lose weight in the first trimester because they're so sick.
Right. That can happen too. Yeah, you're usually gaining about 0.5 pound to 1 pound per week, depending on where you're at. But honestly, on average, people will gain 30 to 35 pounds. I think I was on the upper end, but some people gain more and that's okay too. I just think making sure you're eating, and not going ham would be helpful.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember my second trimester last time. I think I ate pretty much the same, maybe a little bit more, but my meals were pretty full, like full.
Mm-hmm. Did you track?
Meals. I did.
Yeah.
You see that reel of after you go through like by your third pregnancy, you're like not tracking, you're eating whatever you want. But like the first one, you're like on time to all of your doctor's appointments, researching everything, tracking everything, being a maniac about every little detail. And then by the third one, the girl is like in her pajamas, like eating cupcake and she forgot her appointment. That's how I kind of feel right now because I'm like, I mean, you guys, like my like I said, the first time you definitely try to force yourself to do a lot of things, and I've just been kind of not forcing myself, and I've eaten a lot of candy.
I love our podcast. It's like a full confession.
I know.
Every time.
I've eaten a lot of candy, like Skittles. Like, when was the last time I had Skittles? Skittles.
Why would you choose Skittles?
You're not
though?
craving shit. That's why it doesn't sound good to you.
Oh
Airheads.
I'm sorry.
Skittles,
Those
Airheads.
are the worst candies. Like, I would never.
They're not. They're not the worst candies. They're good.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you like Twizzlers. Who likes Twizzlers?
Okay. Well, that's not my favorite. I like.
You literally told me it was your favorite.
No. They're up there. It's Almond Joy, Snickers, Reese's.
Okay, yeah. Obviously, Snickers is the best, or one of the best. But there was weeks where I wasn't craving chocolate specifically. I was craving candy specifically. And then I saw this reel of, if you're craving candy, have frozen grapes. And so I tried that. So I know it's not the same. Just give me the candy. like, just give me the candy and I'll move on. Okay, it's just a couple weeks. Gosh.
Yeah, gosh.
I'm taking my prenatals at night. Okay.
Yeah. I'm dying. Oh my god. Oh yeah. First trimester is the worst. Okay. Weight gain. I think it's a struggle, right, for a lot of people. But keep in mind, this is where I'm going to give you some love, right? Weight gain during pregnancy it's not all body fat, it's a lot of it, but not all. The baby weighs a couple pounds, depending on when it is. Placenta, amniotic fluid, the increase of blood volume, your boobs get huge, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Fluid retention.
That's the best part.
Yeah. So it's not just purely body fat.
I really hope my bump starts showing sooner. Like, my bump did not start showing until third trimester. Last time, you guys, I was so sad because I literally just looked flabby and bigger and just like flab. I'm like, I don't even look like a cute. I can't even like wear anything cute.
Chauntae, we all have different pregnant bodies. It's okay.
I'm just like so sad. Like, if I'm pregnant, I want to look pregnant. Like, where's my bump at? It didn't show up until the end. Like, I'm pissed about it.
I remember you sent me this one screenshot of you working out, and it was like an awful angle, but
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Exactly. Dig that up.
Yeah.
Let's post it on
No, I know.
Okay, let's talk about benefits about exercising during pregnancy. It is so important, you guys. I'm sure if you're listening, you probably work out. I mean, I feel like everyone that follows this is generally working to a healthy lifestyle, but they're enormous, the benefits, okay, for both you and your baby. I don't know if there's still rumors out there like, oh, you need a rest, don't lift over anything over 30. Don't listen to anyone, okay? It reduces the risk of gestational diabetes. It reduces the risk of preeclampsia. It lowers the chances of excessive weight gain. It reduces back pain and pelvic pain. It's going to help you sleep better. It's going to make you happier. It's going to possibly shorten labor and improve your postpartum recovery. I guess you can't like guarantee that, but okay.
Yeah. But hey, you can't guarantee it, but I bet it's still better than if you would not have done it at all. You know?
Yes. And yeah, it's just going to help maintain your cardiovascular fitness, your strength, your muscle mass, which is literally going to save your life. Like, muscle mass is so important. And it's also important after the baby's born. This is why we talk all the time about postpartum being physical, because when you have the baby, you have to pick the baby up. You have to put the baby in the crib. You have to carry car seats. You have to push the stroller. You have to get the stroller into the car. You have to get your toddler into the car. You're bending over. You're picking up. I remember I had a client who had some back issues, and she had seen a PT. And during the end of our time together, she was in her third trimester, and she kind of tweaked her back, and she's like, should I just stop deadlifting altogether? I'm like, no, no, we are going to back off the pain. We're going to reduce the load. We're going to make some modifications. But I was like, you just stop weight training completely. And then guess what you're going to have to do when the baby's born? You have to bend down and pick the baby up. And just happy to report, she had an incredible pregnancy, rest of her pregnancy, amazing postpartum, back at it, was doing hikes with her baby soon after. And it's just
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Erica, she's an amazing client.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, ACOG recommends 150 minutes of moderate to intense activity. And ACOG is like the gold standard, guys. If you want to, look up when it comes to like pregnancy and postpartum, that's where you go. And then just keep in mind, when you're pregnant, your hormones change, right? There are hormones that loosen your ligaments, and just make your joints more mobile. So you just want to be careful of not doing any like like jumping or high impact movements. I think ACOG says like no snorkeling or like skiing or horseback riding or anything you can fall off or overexert in that way. Your center of gravity obviously is different because your belly is bigger. And so you might be a little out of balance. So
dude, I fell.
Yeah.
I fell just walking. Just walking. It was, we were, I want to say like, maybe I was 34 weeks pregnant, and Kevin and I were just strolling around the neighborhood, and then I tripped and landed on my hands. But my mom made me go to the hospital to check on the baby just in case. Gosh. But I was laughing. I'm like, oh my God, here I am. A huge pregnant woman just falls on her face going on a walk.
Well, yeah, it's just you're not normally with a huge belly. It's like your body changes so rapidly. You're not as nimble, especially someone that's trained as you, right? You were doing plyometrics prior to that. You were very nimble and just your body's just different. So keep that in mind. That's why they recommend not doing like box jumps and like shit like that. And then also keep in mind your oxygen needs increase. So if you feel always out of breath, like even talking, that is why. But it's important to stay hydrated. Obviously, don't overheat. No hot yoga, no hot Pilates. You don't want to be on your back for long periods of time, but it is a myth. You can do bench press. You can lie flat and do a bench press set. It can feel uncomfortable, but I preferred third trimester doing incline bench press. But yeah, you can be on your back for short periods as long as you feel okay. If you don't do that. Okay. But there are warning signs to be aware of. So like vaginal bleeding, dizziness, feeling faint, chest pain, shortness of breath, headache, muscle weakness, calf pain or swelling. That's a big one. Regular painful contractions, contact your doctor, right? Fluid leaking, like those are signs you want to make sure you stop, tell your OB. But for the most part, lifting, if you haven't lifted before, you can lift. Like, I think there was a rumor like, oh, if you haven't worked out, like don't start now. No, yes. Exercise is always going to be better for you. Okay. Yeah.
What they mean by that is like, if you never worked out, don't start doing like CrossFit.
Yeah, right.
Or like running all of a sudden or
just like
high intensity stuff. But if you're doing like typical regular strength training stuff, that's totally fine.
Totally. And then postpartum exercise is again so important. You're going to have a better mood. It's going to reduce the risk of deep vein thrombosis, which is a blood clot risk. It's really high. They always tell you like, okay, like keep an eye out right when you leave the hospital. It can help with losing that extra body weight you gain through pregnancy. More importantly, it helps you feel like yourself again, both physically and mentally. And I think sometimes women think that exercise is purely for looking good. You guys, it's not. There are many mental benefits with exercising. So yeah, exercise isn't something to fear. It's going to support both you and baby for the healthy long term. When it comes to specific weightlifting, there's no universal 30-pound lifting limit. It is relative. And I think, again, people say, oh, lift heavy, or like you might see Chauntae squatting like 200 pounds or me deadlifting 200 pounds. But remember, it is relative. 135 might be my warm up baby, starting weight for a deadlift, and it might be your PR, right? So you can't see these women online. Like sometimes I'm even mind blown. I see these women lifting insane weights, pregnant, but for them, it might not be insane. It's insane to me, but it's not for them. And so keep that in mind. Its strength is relative. And now when it comes to lifting, there's actually isn't a strict percentage guideline. Like don't lift X percent of your max. Like that doesn't exist. They will say though, again, it's like avoid maxing out or like, going all out on your lifts, trying to hit a PR, but you can keep intensity pretty moderate. Here are a few guidelines. Like it's called keeping reps in reserve, meaning like if you do a squat and, you have a certain weight, maybe 135, and you could do maybe 12 reps for sure and then fail on rep 12, maybe you do 9 reps. Okay. That means keeping a few reps in reserve. You're not pushing past failure. Avoid holding your breath during lifts. You want to reduce the weight or modify a movement If you notice your abdominal coning or doning, it just means you're not your body isn't able to lift that without controlling the pressure. Yeah, I think one thing that probably most novice lifters don't understand is when you are pregnant, you do want to understand how to breathe properly. Normally, when you're heavy lifting, especially for power lifters or anyone really pushing heavy weights, they will hold their breath and brace, and that creates pressure in your core. And that's called the Valsalva maneuver. During pregnancy, though, you don't want to do that. You want to avoid that because it creates that pressure on your pelvic floor and your ab wall. And your pelvic floor essentially is just a group of muscles that sit at the bottom of your pelvis. And so you can think of it like a hammock that holds up your bladder and uterus. And as you're like inhaling, your diaphragm moves down, your ribs expand, and your pelvic floor lengthens. And then as you exhale, when you're performing the lift, right, your pelvic floor naturally lifts and supports that pressure from underneath while your deep core muscles are engaging. But if you're holding your breath, what happens, you're pushing really hard, and that pressure can put pressure down on that pelvic floor. And over time, it can start like with pelvic heaviness, leaking and coning. And so it's really important to focus on exhaling during the hardest part of the lift. So like a squat, you would exhale when you are standing up versus like normally I don't exhale till I'm 3/4 of the way up or at the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, peeing while you lift is pretty common toward the end of your pregnancy. I remember, I wasn't even lifting super heavy, but I would definitely find myself like peeing quite a bit, and postpartum as well. But like with any muscle that you're trying to strengthen, as you are doing your normal compound exercises like squats, bench, deadlift, lunges, those types of lifts that engage multiple muscles, your pelvic floor, as long as you're breathing properly, like Alyssa just mentioned, is also strengthening at that time. And I didn't really have to do any like special pelvic floor strengthening exercises. The muscles there just kind of healed itself as I got stronger in postpartum. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Like if you're experiencing some peeing episodes, that will go away with just consistency around your training and recovery.
For someone that knows how to breathe properly.
Right. Yes.
If you're a beginner though. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Which you did say. I just wanted to emphasize that. Like it might not though, and you might need to see a pelvic floor specialist or learn how to breathe properly. Anyways, core training. That's another big myth. Women don't realize that you can train core, and it actually is very important to train core because it's going to support your spine. It's going to help stabilize your pelvis. It's going to help reduce back pain, which is huge. I did have very little back pain through my second pregnancy. And so some examples of core training while you're pregnant: Pavlov press, dead bugs, bird dogs, side planks, and then focusing on 360 breathing. So that really is helpful. So 360 real quick, you inhale, you gently engage your deep core. So you're thinking about wrapping your abs inward like a corset while lifting your pelvic floor slightly. And so that's really helpful to train core pregnant, which I think a lot of people don't know about. Cardio, again, a lot of myths. The one I see floating around is like, you can't get your heartbeat over 140 beats per minute. And that's came from a really old guideline, like decades ago. So there's new research. Yeah, your heart rate alone isn't the best way to measure exercise intensity when you're pregnant because every woman's baseline is different. So like 140 heartbeat for me versus someone else is not going to be the same. So instead of focusing on a strict heart rate cap, what you can do is actually focus on your perceived effort. So a simple test here is called the talk test. You should be able to hold a conversation, but you probably can't sing a song. And that's a good indicator that you're probably in a good moderate range there. And again, cardio is amazing when you're pregnant. It's going to improve circulation, reduce gestational diabetes, improve digestion, and reduce constipation. It's going to help with back pain and improve cardio health. Yeah, a good target for movement is anywhere between 7K steps plus a day. Cool. Oh, good. We did it under an hour. Yeah. Anything else you want to... I talked fast at the end there.
No, that was pretty much it. I mean, if you guys have any specific questions, feel free to DM us. Didn't you have like a...
Oh, yes. A giveaway.
A giveaway.
For reminding me. DM Coach Alyssa, me. I have a pregnancy PDF guide. If you would like it, send me a DM.
Cool. I'll link Alyssa's Instagram in the show notes. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye.